Hi, everyone. Welcome to DomainSherpa. Today is a super special episode of Down the Rabbit Hole, talking NFTs with the Rabbit Hole Gang featuring Steve Galanis of Cameo. Along with Steve, we've got Drew, Andrew Miller, and Hiren Patel on the show, and we focus this one on the Bored Ape Yacht Club. It's Super Bowl week, so we talk about whether we expect to see Bored Apes involved in the Super Bowl and if that actually matters. We talk about rarity versus aesthetics in valuing an ape, the value of Yuga Labs as a business in light of some recent fundraising rumors, the value and the worth of the upcoming ApeCoin token, and the Cameo Pass NFT, which is coming soon. Check out pass.cameo.com for more details on that. So we have all this and more happening right now here on DomainSherpa, so ape in and jump down the rabbit hole with us. Let's go.
It don't matter what you say, ain't no way that you messing with my team today. It don't matter what you do, I will.
What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, aka JT, aka J On, aka Lincoln Abraham, and I'm the host and producer of DomainSherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today's show is a down the rabbit hole. So for those of you who know, our foundation is based around domains, which are digital assets and which naturally segue into things like cryptocurrency and NFTs. And as we say on DomainSherpa, all roads lead to domains. And in the reverse, our work in domains has us venturing all the time down different rabbit holes in different areas and topics. Some super familiar to us, like I said, crypto, NFTs, which really seem to be kind of where we've been honing in on this rabbit hole show as this has evolved and developed. And we've got a super dope special show for y'all today. So let me just go ahead. We're going to jump down the rabbit hole. Let me introduce all my co-hosts, and then we're going to get to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over to my left, and then I'm going to circle all the way around so I can finish with the best for last, which we're going to get to. So first things first, over to my left, I got my boy Andrew Rosner, a.k.a. Morpheus, a.k.a. the Dirk Diggler of domain names, a.k.a. Bob Lee Swagger, the Sniper. What's up, dude? How are you?
I'm great, man.
I didn't even delay on the Dirk Diggler, man. I dove right into it this time, man. Let's go.
Did me dirty.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's keep it. That's what she said. All right, let's keep it moving. Now, over to my right, I got my boy Hiren Patel, who has been on the show before, but still very much a special guest, a.k.a. Daniel LaRusso, a.k.a. Mr. Quality. He's our version of Mr. Wonderful. He's always deal making. You know, for the folks who don't know, because again, Hiren's only been on the show a couple of times, he is a preeminent deal maker in the domain space as well as the NFT space. He jumped into the Bored Ape Yacht Club around the same time that we all did and has made some of the biggest moves, has acquired an incredible portfolio, and has found his way. He's also, we call him AKA Gary P instead of Gary V. He's mad positive and just one of those guys. He knows everybody. He always seems to be ahead of the curve. So Hiren, thank you for being here, man. What's happening?
Thank you for having me, and nice to meet all of you after a long time.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's great. All right, so let's keep going around the room. We got my boy Andrew Miller, a.k.a. Ace Rothstein, a.k.a. Bill Belichick. Calls New England home, so I got to give him those props and those shout outs. So now Miller's been on the show so many times that I can't even go through your entire bio, but everybody knows, they know he is one of the preeminent domainers. He's big in NFTs. He is a killer from a deal making standpoint. His network is crazy. His net worth is crazy, and we love having him on the show. And he's a personal friend. So Miller, what's happening, man? How are you?
I am excited. I'm excited about doing a Rabbit Hole BAYC show as, we head into Super Bowl week and dispel all these crazy Super Bowl hype and rumors about Bored Ape spots and commercials, but lots of good things, despite not very unlikely a Super Bowl presence. A lot of other good, unless it's through Steve and his party, a lot of good things coming up. So
all right, yeah. Well, it's not. We'll crack into that in a second. But yeah, I mean, we did a daily fantasy show with Miller and some of his squad, and that was a great show. People love that. We got to do another one of those soon. And
this is a big DraftKings week, obviously. So I'm behind the scenes as soon as we get off, kind of spending a couple hours a day getting ready for both the awesome Waste Management Open, followed by the big day, which is the Super Bowl, and see if I can take down as many GPPs as I won in DraftKings. I still haven't won that Millionaire Maker, so there's always one more week here Sunday.
Let's get it. Yeah, and like you said, this show is going to be really focused on the BAYC. There's a ton of stuff going on. As this is a down the rabbit hole show, We're not going to talk a ton about domains. We're really going to focus this one on NFTs and particularly around the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Now, with that, let me introduce our super special guest. We got Steve Galanis, aka Mr. 312, aka Hype Dicka, aka Hard Rock Steve, and aka Cameo Newton. What up? So let me do the bio real fast. I got to do the AKAs. That's how we do it here, man.
I was gonna say before we did it, I was so jealous that everybody else had AKAs. I didn't know what you were gonna have, but pretty good.
Cameo Newton. That's good, man. I
So
like that.
for Steve, he is an entrepreneur and the co-founder of Cameo, recognized as one of the top Hollywood top innovators by the Hollywood Reporter, 40 under 40, Crane Chicago Business Innovator of the Year. I mean, you know, the accolades are significant, and Cameo is so dope. Legitimately, it's changed the way fans can interact with their favorite celebrities. It's a marketplace where fans can book personalized video shout-outs from their favorite stars, celebrities, actors, athletes, musicians, social media stars. I mean, the list is crazy. We went through it a little bit. I mean, you got Redman, Gabby Douglas, Chad Ochocinco, Gilbert Gottfried, Flavor Flav, Bill Russell. And then, like, when I mentioned the social media stars, you got Island Boys. And I called you Hard Rock Steve because in the NFT space, you got Hard Rock Nick, which, man, people book him all. And I'm a huge fan of Hard Rock Nick, man. He's just I'm down bad. I'm overinvested. You know, I mean, some of the classic memes in the NFT space are literally from cameos done by Hard Rock Nick. And, you know, and so, you know, on some other things about Cameo real quick, the top Fast Companies list of the world's most innovative social media companies, world's 50 most innovative companies, Momentum Award. I mean, there's so many, 50 most genius companies by Time Magazine. So it's unicorn status, a lot of venture money. I mean, and you can find them online at cameo.com. cameo.com, which for all the domain folks, you know, our core audience, it's like, we appreciate the fact that y'all did know what you're doing, man. I mean, you guys have grown this incredible business that has social, cultural relevance and is absolutely trend-setting. And it comes from such an idea that you're like, damn, like, why didn't we think of that? You know what? Some of the best ideas ever are the ones that seem somewhat obvious. And it's like, but it's the folks that actually do it and do it right that make the difference. And, and credit to you guys for what you built, man. It's awesome.
Oh, appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man. And
So I gotta say one thing. My wife's, shout out to her. She's probably, considered the highest end event planner in Boston, corporate, personal, and between her events and my own churning through 50th birthday parties and bar mitzvahs, and I don't think I've been to a single. I'm not just saying the single event in the past 2 to 3 years, not one that she's put together for business or personally where there hasn't been at least one Cameo integrated into the event. It's nuts.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just so dope. And outside of Cameo, Steve's an active member in the community, especially in and around Chi-Town, where he is home base. But for the purposes of this show, the most important thing is that he is a Bored Ape owner, right? Because today's show is all about the BAYC. I mean, it is a movement as well, and and it's going crazy. And there's so much stuff to talk about. So Steve, thank you for being on the show, man. Super excited to have you here. And let's get it cracking, guys. So it's Super Bowl week. So let's start with what Miller was talking about. Because they came out and even said, hey guys, there's a lot of hype about a Super Bowl commercial or a halftime show. They kind of put some, they kind of dispelled some of those rumors. But what do we think? We think there's going to be any involvement, and does it matter?
Want me to start?
Yeah, dive in. Let's go.
No, Steve, you go. Nope, let Steve go.
I put a tweet out about this a few days ago. It felt like, especially I aped in right around New Year's. I was at a kind of my founding story, in regards to the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I was at a good friend's wedding, New Year's Eve in New York. And one of my buddies had just aped in, and he basically spent the whole wedding. Like we literally didn't even fucking dance, right? Like my fiance and his wife were sitting on the corner, and we're just scrolling on our phone on OpenSea, like looking for different apes. And I spent the whole next week just obsessing over finding the right one. And I ended up finding one that I liked a lot. The floor was at 68. It was listed at 80. And just to keep myself disciplined, I'm an X options trader. I only put 74 ETH into my wallet.
Right,
and I just kept doing unsolicited bids to these different ones, come in 93, 94% to the buy it now price. And, I just kept getting ignored, and I was so fucking pissed. So finally this one in a toga pops up. and it's 80 ETH and it sells. And I was so pissed. And I see the next day the guy listed for 100, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go get it. And so I put that one up. And for me, it was so important to have one that's authentic. And we can talk rarities and we can talk all that stuff. But I literally, I'm Greek. I'm a history major, so I loved the toga. I'm in technology, so the 3D glasses kind of had that futuristic look.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was like the perfect one for me. But anyways, watching that floor move, because I aped in on January 7th, right? Floor at that point was probably 72. I paid 100. Everybody's like, you're fucking crazy. There was all the chatter online when you have one that comes up like that. And then you watch in the next 2-3 weeks, the floor gets to 100. And so much of what everybody was talking about and why it was going up was this hype around Super Bowl. What was going to happen at the halftime show? Was there going to be some cultural moment that everybody wanted to be part of? And, at the same time, like, I don't really give a shit if any of that stuff happens. What's been amazing to me, like, I've watched my Twitter following double in the last month, right? The engagement that I'm getting, just like all the great new people, like all you guys that I've met just in the last month on Twitter, like there's so much inbound. And I think, like, as you were talking about in the intro, right, Cameo has long seen crypto Twitter be some of our biggest whale customers, right? This community's really embraced our business. And I'd been watching from the sidelines at how this was going. And I'm like, I gotta dive in, right? Like, I just knew I needed to better be part of this community to really understand authentically, like, what, if anything, Cameo should ever do in the space. And, it's been an amazing ride. But one of the things I put out there, guys, was, hey, I don't care if there's a Super Bowl commercial or not. My life's already changed from being part of this community. I've seen so many other people's lives change from being part of this community. So if that happens, it's icing on the cake. But it's so incredible what what this community has done in such a short period of time. And I'm 31 days in. Right.
Yeah.
And it feels like 4 years. Right?
I was going to say that's 5-6 years in NFT time.
Oh, but, it is, right? Like, over that period of time. And think about doubling my Twitter following. I've done a lot of cool stuff in my life. I've built a $1 billion company. Like, I run an internet company that is in the meat. So to double my Twitter following in a month, right?
Yeah.
Pretty insane. But, like, I will tell you, my board, when we had a board meeting on June 19th, and they were like literally worried that I'd gone off the rabbit, gone down the rabbit hole, right? Like, all of a sudden I'm in, my picture's an ape, like I'm tweeting out about all this kind of stuff. But, I'm GN every night, and it's just been so much fun. I've been having a blast.
They're talking to the lawyers to see if they got to go off on the key man policy and stuff. They're like, hey, it's time to eat the pull.
We're going to have to get the key ape policy now.
Yes, exactly. I love it. And but I mean, and I think that's the thing that a lot of us saw, and we've talked about this a lot on the show, aping in the benefits besides the, the monetary, the rise in the value of the ape as an investment, but it's the community and everything else. And like, it's not just saying GM for the sake of saying it. I mean, there are real benefits. I think all of us have probably seen a doubling of our Twitter following. Now, maybe not as big as yours, but mine still doubled from a couple thousand, a couple more thousand, you know what I mean? And it's like, and introduced you in a lot of ways to a lot of folks, even for us with our Ape In Productions, like, if we don't have our apes, we never get a call with Timberland, you know what I'm saying? Let alone the ability to partner with him on something like what we have. So, it's in a lot, we've said it about domains can level the playing field to give you introductions into places where you otherwise wouldn't be able to get in the room. And, NFTs have created also that type of thing where, it creates a whole different level playing field of like-minded folks that, of all different shapes and sizes and status and everything else. So, yeah, man. So I love it. I think that,
I got a funny little story in that regard, which I probably, hopefully won't cause a problem. But Saturday, 4:30 a.m. Eastern time, I was up because my 19-and-a-half-year-old dog was up and needed little help, and I just couldn't go back to sleep. And I got on my phone, and I went, so I went to disturb my wife. I went into my son's bedroom. He's in college, and at 4:30 in the morning, I received a direct message on Twitter from Paris Hilton. And we then go on to go back and forth for about 20 minutes, engage, on a variety of things. And that is 100% how, granted, I have other relation, her husband's brother is a friend, but all that aside,
Yeah.
This all was because of the ape. I had an ape, she had an ape, and I sent something that I thought I could help her with, and she replied back, and off we go. So
yeah, I mean, you're DMing with Paris Hilton. I mean,
right?
what the like? Come on,
right?
man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where does that happen?
And Marlon Humphrey, and whoever else.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
I hope that she said some shit and you were like, that's hot. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta like, you're like trying to talk her like language, you know what I'm saying? And but yo, huge shout out to Paris Hilton, man. I got people that send me that Jimmy Fallon Paris Hilton video. I probably got a bunch of my, call them normie friends or whatever, civilians, right, that are sending me that link left and right, being like, yo, Paris Hilton, Jimmy Fallon, they got apes just like the apes you've been talking about and doing your thing with. You know what I mean? It's like, the pop culture impact, I think, is one of those things. And, a huge shout out to MoonPay because, their ability to onboard celebs has been really, really big from a visibility standpoint, and I think this kind of speaks to something that, Steve, that you mentioned about rarities and whatever. Like, you look at Justin Bieber aping in, right? Like, he buys the ape with the black t-shirt that everyone's like, oh man, he got, he overpaid. But it's like, I think regardless of what he paid, because I think at the end of the day, it's if this is still a marketplace driven by what a seller wants to sell for and what a buyer wants to pay for it, right? Like we talk about domains. What's a domain worth? It's worth what someone's willing to pay for it, what someone's willing to sell it for.
It's literally the most perfect analogy, right? It's like I look at it like three-letter.coms, right? Because three-letter.coms are like the most liquid category of domain names that you can sell it at the drop of a hat. There's a liquid price depending on what the letters are. There's different formats, but it's a very, very liquid, very clear market in terms of pricing. Now, I own a lot of three-letter.coms, like a lot, and I could go out and I could liquidate them tomorrow at that liquid price of $25,000 to $35,000 each, right? I have zero interest in doing that. Now, somebody comes along, if they want to buy one of my three-letter.coms, it's going to cost them $500,000 to several $1 million. And some idiot's going to say, one of these idiots on a domain forum is going to say, oh, look, that idiot overpaid for that three-letter.com. No. If you just want to buy a three-letter.com, well, then you can have your run of the floor price, right? But if you want a particular three-letter.com, then you got to pay the price. Whatever the price is. And it's just what it is, right? There's
and clearly Justin Bieber wanted that ape, right? I mean, clearly
Justin Bieber wanted that ape, and Justin Bieber can afford that ape, so that's the damn ape he bought. And nobody should be opening their beak about it. It's like, guys, you should be happy. What he's demonstrated is that aesthetic is more valuable and more important than the rarity. And my friend Hiren over here is actually one of the first people I heard preaching that from day one. Is I don't care about the rarity. It's all about the aesthetic, because if the price is more than, let's say, I don't know, 10 ETH, 20 ETH for these apes, well, then what is it that we're pricing in? Because it's not just the ego and the PFP and we're pricing in the commercialization, right? The whole reason this thing blew up more than any other NFT project prior was because they gave away the commercial rights. And so what we're pricing in there is, how are these going to be commercialized? How are these going to be utilized to generate revenue and value and IP for the ape owners? And so if it's all based on commercialization, then the value lies in the apes that are most able to be commercialized. And so that's the one that he said, this is the one I'm going to go out and commercialize. Maybe it's going to be.
Or either way, it's just he wanted it so bad that the commercialization is selling it to somebody who resonates enough with it to say that's what the value is, right? I mean,
exactly.
And I just had a dark thought, because look at this, the little link here in our chat that we've been talking about, and I just wonder, if they knew what they knew now, would they have given the IP away in the smart contract or not? If A16Z is coming in for X millions of dollars at an X billion-dollar valuation, are they unhappy or happy that they gave the IP away? And if they were to mint more apes because they maybe can, would they do them without IP? Right.
So the link we're referring to is the article that came out about the audit of the smart contract to say that shows that there may be the ability for, them to mint more apes. Right. And, which I don't think would be their intent, but, who knows? And we can talk about that in a second. But to your question or your thought, I think they absolutely give the rights away again. When you look at the amount that they've done by way of secondary sales, the mutant sales, the amount of money that they've made, that the four founders who just recently got doxxed, by the way, and which is a whole nother kind of topic we can get into. But the I think they have to look at this like, look, this was a success in any measure, right? And huge credit and shout out to the founding team to be able to continue to roll the punches and continue to deliver in a way that worked, right? In a space that is brand new, right? They were making decisions and choices where they really were setting the trends of how these projects go. I don't know that the project takes off if you don't give away the rights. Is it just another PFP project?
So there's 2 points. One is, this is like, it's not even a question, because this project would be a zero, just like 99% of the other projects, like if they hadn't given away the commercial rights. The entire success of this project hinges on the fact that they gave away the commercial rights, which basically gave the ability for the entire community to go out and get creative and say, well, I got Shane's honey, right? This is probably the first, the first Bored Ape Yacht Club derivative product, real world product that was ever made, right? This is Shane's honey. I got the gold seal, the real rare shit. Right.
And for those of you here, we should tell Shane to cut us the check, because we're going to promote the honey right now. But, and you can get this right now for 0.05 ETH. But there's a perfect example.
So it's a non-starter if they don't give away the commercial rights. It would just be another project like all the other projects that came before. And if you look at the marketplace, most of the successful projects since are ones that have given away the commercial rights. Gaio Siri comes into World of Women, says, all right, guys, we need to change it up. They gave away the commercial rights to the owners now. What happened? The floor price of the project tripled. So it's not even a question. There is no question about, could they have done it differently? If they had, they would not be where they are today. I am 100% certain about that.
And that's where you get, oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Second is, though, why would they want to, right? It's like, I actually believe that what they did was unlock everybody's brain to realize, okay, the biggest problem in every single business is distribution, right? Marketing, distribution, but distribution is the bottleneck for every single business model on planet Earth today. And so there's a lot of great ideas out there. There's a lot of great people that can go out and execute them. But there's a lot of bottlenecks in industries that you want to create the best alcohol that's ever been made in history? Great. I dare you to try to find a way to sell that in California without dealing with Southern, what do they call it? Southern wine and spirits or whatever. Right? You don't have a chance. Unless you go make a deal with them, you will literally your company's gone in a year. And so, what these guys have done is unlock a business model that says, we're going to just create a great product. We don't know what the market's going to do with it, but we're going to release it. And our, call it 1,000 true fans, our audience base is going to grab it and run with it. They are going to be the distribution. They are going to be the marketing. They're going to be the voice of this thing. Like, how many tweets has Gargamel come out and made? Like, probably count them on 2 hands. You know what I mean? He's not out there marketing this thing. Yuga Labs isn't doing commercials. They're not doing anything. The only reason anybody knows about this is because you, the 5 of us, and everybody else that owns an ape is out here pounding the drum. We're out on Twitter every day, thousands of people. It's the Bored Ape Yacht Club army. We're taking over. You know what I mean? Shouting from the treetops. That distribution model is brand new.
It's like a software platform that lets you build on top of it, right? I mean, you compare, the platforms out there that let you build on top of it versus the ones that don't.
100%.
And, you look 100%. At the success ratio between the ones that do and the ones that don't. It's crazily different.
Open source with a built-in incentive. How do you beat that?
Yeah. And I think so, kind of to your point about Hiren, I mean, and you've built this little portfolio now. Well, not little portfolio, but I mean, that's why you got that Admiral ape with the merch hat, Hiren, man. I'm just staring at that thing. If I ever win the lottery, I'm coming for that ape. I'm just telling you right now. That's happening.
Hiren makes me feel guilty, man. I had the one ape, back in the day, I was hunting for a really unique ape, right? I had a bunch of apes, but I was like, I just want one really, something super unique. And so I hit my boy Hiren, and Hiren's going through the apes with me. And I'm like, what do you think about this one? Da, da, da. And then Hiren's like, no, here's the ape. And he sends it to me, and it's literally, to this day, I think it's literally the most rare ape in the entire Bored Ape Yacht Club. And I sold that thing for like 65 ETH. I don't have a lot of regrets, but I deeply regret that.
Are you talking about triple cream?
Triple cream, baby. The only monochrome ape in the whole Bored Ape Yacht Club, man.
Yeah, dough addict,
Yellow
monochromatic. I mean, and
yeah.
and the thing is now is D Farmer bought that ape and basically was like, he's like, I'm never selling it ever, ever. Like that will
off the market forever.
You're gonna bury it with him. You know what I'm saying? So
actually, the funny thing is also, like, whenever he listed that ape for sale, right away I DM Andrew. I said, hey, I want to buy this one, And actually at that time I had a pending deal to sell one of my other ape, and I said, as soon as I sell, I'm gonna come after this ape. But before I sell my particular ape, the D Farmer, he sold couple apes on that day for couple hundred ETH, and before he go for 31st December party, he bought it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happens when, like, you listed it too low when it sells as quick as it does, even in this kind of market. You know what I mean? And it's like,
although to be fair, I had it sitting at like 99 ETH for like a month, and nobody touched it. Nobody made any offers. It was even close. And it wasn't until I dropped it down to 65 that, Farmer came in.
And I think, it's interesting. There's certain apes that have these kind of, like, what I look at as, sort of aesthetics or things that will take time. Like you mentioned spirits and wine, like fine wine almost, right? Ape rarity of 10,000, like the least rare ape, is an ape that eventually will be worth, millions and millions of dollars if it's not already today, because of just the fact that it's the most boring ape. You know what I mean? But yet you put it up there today, maybe, today it'd probably sell for 200, but I think, but that's an ape that could eventually sell for, I mean, literally truckloads of money. Oh, well over, like, even apes maybe in the top 20 rarity. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I think the owner already listed for very high. I think he listed for 10,000 or 100,000 ETH.
Yeah, and he'll probably wait for it. And probably eventually we'll get it. So, all right. So let's double back. So Super Bowl, we kind of feel like, to Steve's point, it's like it's a non-event. I've always looked at it like, hey, it's a cool kind of thing. If there's something interesting or somebody leverages an ape, or you see NFTs pop up in Super Bowl ads. I mean, we're gonna see some stuff around, crypto.com maybe, or FTX, and you'll see these big companies doing commercials. Maybe there's NFTs. Maybe you see a Bored Ape kind of glimpse, but we don't expect a big old show. Even the halftime show that's going to involve Dre and Snoop and Eminem, who all now have apes. Well, I don't know about Dre, but I know Snoop does, and Eminem obviously does. He bought G Gaza's ape. Doesn't really matter, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's more visibility, which is great, but we're already getting that. So
I'm going to take the other side of that coin. So while I don't personally care, I think that it's disingenuous to say that it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's all about brand, right? And brand visibility is what drives it. There's no bigger event. Having a Bored Ape, showing in the halftime show of the Super Bowl is pretty much the biggest stage in the world. It would have a massive impact. It's going to introduce the Bored Ape Yacht Club to the few people who don't already know about it. And I that's a flex of all flexes. Like,
yeah, but Drew, if is wearing a Bored Ape sweatshirt or sneakers or that, no one will know, right? I mean, it's great, we'll know, but it won't introduce it in that regard. It may create, we've already seen like Tyrese Halliburton wearing shoes. And
but I saw
just got traded yesterday.
I saw something which probably is just to do with his Sandbox gig, but there was a post that came out with Snoop in one of those outfits,
the half-tech suits, the full body
the half-tech suit. And I was like, oh, damn, they're going to do like a full-on, performance as their apes at the Super Bowl.
Not happening.
So all I'm saying is I don't think you could say it doesn't matter.
It's the cherry on top. Right?
It's the cherry on top.
The cherry on top. And that's actually
maybe three cherries.
That's what I said in my tweet. It's like,
I think
if it happens, it's awesome. Does it change the utility? No. Is it a cultural touch point moment? Yes.
Of course.
Right? Yeah. That's fair. I would agree 1,000%. And I think it's the kind of thing too, though, to Miller's point, it would almost have to be though, like if it's, if M comes out wearing like the hundreds, Bored Ape hoodie, it's one thing. But like, you know, people I think were expecting kind of like what Drew was saying, like, you know, the Bored Apes to be almost like the centerpiece of some aspect of the show, which would have to require them to literally have some hologram stuff set up to pull it off in a way that people would even understand or kind of get what was going on. You know what I mean?
But
People are, you know, and like imagine the memes, just like the, you know, like the Weeknd, you still see the memes from last one where Weeknd's walking from room to room, and it's, you know, like, you know, they do have these I mean, there's no question that those are culturally relevant moments, but it also depends on what that moment is. You
how
know?
well did
I
the
believe
team
I
manage
saw-
expectations, though?
Well,
Yeah.
These guys are.
that's the key, right? It's the
Ah.
it's the managing of expectations, because anything we just talked about is basically priced in and
Yep.
kind of imagined, right? Like everybody's like, yeah, oh, if Eminem isn't Eminem, but he's his ape and he's performing as his ape, like whatever they actually are going to do, if they have to do it, has to be better than that, or
Yeah.
it's a disappointment. So like,
Exactly.
I think whether they're going to do something or not, they had to temper the expectations, because like what would impress, what would impress this group? This is such an imaginative group of people, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's been thinking about, go ahead.
Personally, like I am not over expecting anything from them, but I have a different view on those angles. Like for example, let's say like Snoop and Eminem, they're gonna perform, right? But their social media PFP, I think the Eminem still has the Bored Ape as his PFP, right?
Yep.
So basically that is also indirect way of marketing, because if the people are gonna watch the halftime show, they may gonna try and search, them.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. Like there'll be additional visibility on all these guys, all their social media accounts, Instagram, Twitter, all that shit's gonna be on fire. And just having a Bored Ape as a PFP tied into whatever it is they do. Because look, that commercial that came out, that 3-minute thing where the prep for where it starts with Eminem, like playing all the different songs of the performers,
Fire.
is
That
one of the
was
most fire promo videos
Yeah,
things I've
ever.
ever seen. Like that shit where it starts with, M doing the rap god shit against the old Slim Shady, throwing words up like Minority Report against the fucking board, and then Snoop's driving, and it's like, and then and it culminates at the end, and then they got Mary J with fucking Family Affair, and like
Mary J in the Bentley.
yeah, and then Kendrick with Humble, and then it closes out with dun, dun, dun. It does the still Dre shit as Dre's walking on the fucking beach, and he's like, let's go, and they all meet up like it's a goddamn action movie, Ocean's 11 or whatever, and you're like, that shit is hype. And so, but the point is they're going to leverage this stuff both on stage, off stage, and any overlap at all around the, the Bored Apes and all that stuff is going to be a good look no matter what. So I think, and anything beyond that is dope. So
I believe Bovada has a prop.
They do. They have a fucking prop as to whether or not the Bored Apes are going to be involved in the halftime show.
Let me tell you where my money's going.
Yeah, well, that's how you.
Sorry, what'd you say, Andy?
That's how you know. So one of the online casinos, Bovada, has basically odds. It's and it's favorable that there will not be a performance when you look. So it's minus like
easy money, baby.
It's like minus 300 or something, which means Vegas is saying the Bored Apes aren't going to be on stage. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, you can bet on that?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I knew that.
But even that alone, the fact that it's a prop shows you the cultural relevance.
Those odds like a week ago.
Yeah, well, but the cultural relevance, it just shows you the fact that there's a fucking prop on an established site for, betting is, and the Bored Apes are actually on there. How can you not be bullish in general? You know what I'm saying? That's actually
how much do we know how much money has actually like traded hands, like from day one to today? Like how much money between the apes, the dogs, and the mutants is traded?
We could calculate and see what has been traded on OpenSea and just do the math, the rough math that way. I don't have
it. Doesn't
That's
include
true.
Nifty Trader.
If
I had a bet,
so let's say it's probably 40,000 ETH, right?
No. Like Bored Ape itself is like 370K.
Yeah, it's hundreds of thousands of ETH.
Okay, so all right. So you're talking like 400,000 ETH.
Much more.
Only on OpenSea, because majority.
Yeah.
Only on the.
But looks rare. I mean, let's be honest. Looks rare is a very small fraction.
No, but it's not just looks. It's Nifty Trader, right?
Yeah,
and then but then you also had like the Christie's auction and shit, right? So it's like, I mean, you had some millions of dollars in sales of Bored
We
Apes.
never found out who bought the big batch, right? Like the 101 or whatever.
Not yet.
You got to believe that's coming in the pipeline too.
Well, it might have been someone who's traded them though, right? I mean, it
could have been Disney.
Yeah, or it could have been a.
You know what I'm saying? It could have been. We have no idea. I think it had to have been a corporation.
I think it was a fund. I think it was a fund that already flipped them all. Personal opinion, but
no, because if they were flipping them, people would have talked about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they would have said these are Christie's apes that are being sold.
We know which apes were in that package.
Recently, I checked the ownership, and ownership is not being changed on any of the that particular person bought, and that auction house said very clearly that these are one of their traditional investor.
Yeah, and that they had a plan. They had a plan for the apes.
Yes.
And by the way, just running through the numbers really fast on the.
Look at you. He's laughing. He knows. What do you know?
So it's 700,000 ETH about between the apes, the dogs, and the mutants just on OpenSea. 700,000 ETH. So
crazy, man. Crazy business, right?
So like I said, that's like $3 billion.
I mean, when you look at that number,
I saw today
$2.2 billion, of which they've taken.
That
go ahead.
Bored Ape Yacht Club has done more in GMV than Airbnb in the first 3 years, or
I posted that,
or DraftKings in the first 10, which was
in my email this morning.
Okay, so I knew I saw that, but that was super interesting.
I mean, look, when you really step back, I can say, and I said this a month and a half ago, right? And if this were a publicly traded company or SPAC, based on their pure cash flow as a business and what you could assume they've done, this is a minimum $10 billion market cap right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just no way publicly traded minimum. And if A16 came in at $5 billion, that's a great deal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got a great valuation.
But if we look at it, right, the economics of this are not like a normal business, right? They're getting basically, let's say their margin is basically a third at best of what a traditional margin would be in a normal business, never mind a tech business.
So you're basing that on the 2.5% royalty?
Yeah,
is that kind of what you're saying?
RIP, okay. Right? Because so this is the interesting thing to me, which I think segues into a few of the other things we've touched on and that we wanted to talk about, is like, what's the business model going forward for them, right? Like, don't get me wrong, if you're 4 dudes and you just launch this project and you're getting a 2.5% RIP on a $3 billion a year, GMV, like, all good. That's a great business. But if you're an A16Z and you're coming in and you're going to put it, take an equity stake in this thing, there's no token I guess there will be a token to buy.
I think the token's a huge part. A16Z's entire fund is investing in token-driven projects. So
hold on.
That's
but that's my point is, are they buying equity in this business? Because I don't know what that equity is worth, right? Other than some probably decreasing multiple of that 2.5%, right? Because that's got to have a decay rate on it. And then otherwise, where's the open revenue streams that can be developed?
Gaio's Siri, how do you know they don't have a backdoor deal with Disney? Using Disney as a stupid example, but to pay them $100 million a year for the franchise rights to multiple layers, characters, theme parks.
Because
they don't own the characters, dude. That's the thing you gotta remember.
They own the brand, right? So here's the thing, and they could develop new. They may not have to do new apes, right? This is in line with that article that came out, and whether or not they mint new apes as part of the original 10,000 collection, right? Minus the one that the fucking asshole burned. Remember that shit? Like that guy's got to. I mean, I don't even remember dude's name. I just know that that's got to hurt. Anyway, but they do own the brand.
It was novel at the time, man. I got respect for that.
And in fact,
how easy it would be to go get 20 apes or 25. Maybe they bought the Christie's apes, right? I mean, who knows? So
they made a public statement last week that they each founder retained one ape.
No, I'm saying Disney.
Stop.
No, Disney.
Oh, Disney, maybe, yeah.
Maybe
they
bought 24 apes.
But then that's got nothing to do with them.
But they own the brand, right? And that's even one of the rules around the characters. You can license the IP, or you can use your character for whatever you want, but you can't use the logo unless
Club.
But that's why the merch apes are critical. Well, that's what I mean. Like they've got the club itself, right? So they could create, and keep in mind they've got this roadmap and they've got the token coming. So let's talk about that.
But hold on, let's just be. Hold on, I want to break this. Let's get serious for a second.
All right.
Like, what is Star Wars? Star Wars sold to Disney?
3 billion.
What?
4.5 billion.
$4 billion. It's sold for $4 billion, right?
Mhm.
So you're telling me A16Z is going to come in at a $5 billion valuation because Disney might make a movie using the Bored Ape Yacht Club name? Hell no. It's fucking the greatest franchise in movie history sold for $4 billion, right?
You're looking at one
With all
small
the IP
piece.
and the toy deals and the proven market success, that shit sold for $4 billion. So that ain't the play. So what I'm trying to understand is what's the play, right? So for me, and the reason I'm hyping on this is like, all right, because I think the only way you can get to a valuation like that is if you're banking on a token, and if this is not an equity investment, but a token purchase.
So I've got a couple. I mean, Miller, Steve. I mean, I don't want to just dive in and not necessarily argue with Drew, but I don't want to take the floor if you guys have a comment here.
I just have one comment. And first of all, if I know a decent amount about what A16Z's fund is doing in this space, and it's, they're interested in token projects, but they're not just taking tokens and for all their money. Okay,
And we're just using them as an example. I mean, obviously because of who they are.
But they are taking just tokens
but hold on,
in the majority of their investments. So don't be confused about it.
And I'm assuming the opposite. You're assuming that this investment is in Bored Ape Yacht Club, and it's not. The investment
it's in Yuga Labs. Yeah.
So who has this massive community, and who knows? Maybe they're minting 55 different other things, right? So
yeah. So that was my next point. Is like, all right, there's only two ways here. It's either a token investment, or there is a potential dilution event because they're going to launch new projects. Now you can say, well, there's 1,000 projects launching every single day, and so if that's not dilutive, then why is this dilutive? But those aren't Yuga Labs. And so, is that, what do you guys think? Is that dilutive? Let's say they come out tomorrow with giraffes. And so now we got,
it's not going to be another PFP.
I'm just saying, is that dilutive? Like, what's the play? How do we get to a $5 billion valuation?
It depends. What do we have access to it? Do we have benefits from it? As the OG Bored Ape Yacht Club, do we get priorities? Do we get distribution? Do we get, what's our?
If we're getting it for free, I'm having a harder time getting to a $5 billion valuation.
Yo, so keep in mind, you're missing a couple of elements here, right? So, there's several plays that they could get into without doing PFPs, right? And there's plenty of things. There's movies and cartoons, and there's physical.
They told us no more airdrops. They told us that.
I'm not, but this isn't. We're getting to where NFTs won't even completely be the play with regards to Yuga Labs. Think about this. The gaming aspect alone could be fucking enormous. I mean, think about it. Microsoft just acquired Blizzard for close to $70 billion. You know what I'm saying?
And by the way, this company's made no bones about it. They're they are a gaming play first, right? I mean, everything they do is focused on gaming.
All the founders used to be a hardcore gamers.
Yep.
And see, like, and one more thing is,
and the token is going to be play to earn, right? That's been made pretty clear.
And they promised for the games, play to earn games are gonna be launched around second quarter. So right now the main focus is all about tokens, but we are also forgetting one more important aspect is they quadruple their staff. They used to be the 9 people company. Now it's a 36 people company. They don't need 36 people just for tokens.
Are there any other $5 billion valuation companies with 36 employees?
WhatsApp.
OpenSea had like 70 employees until a couple months ago.
Right.
Now they have 7.
WhatsApp used to be 19 people or maybe 30 or maybe 35 people company when they got sold to Facebook for $9 billion.
But yeah, I think that's and the token is a big piece of this too.
Media Options is the industry's leading domain broker specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, Media Options offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. Media Options believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you.
So let's talk about that. So we've got the Ape token, because I know we've got about 20 minutes and then we've got to stop, but we got a hard stop right around there. So the token, it's priced in, right? I mean, I think that's all, you know, what we would all
hard to price in if you don't know what you got.
Right. I agree with that.
So
see, like I think if we see the movement, floor movement, right, from 30 ETH, like, okay, let's start talking about post mutant floor movement, right? The post mutant, the floor crashed up to the 30 ETH. Why? Because there was a huge cloud about misunderstanding of whether the mutants has equal rights to the Bored Ape or not, and then they need to clarify, right?
And the dilutive effect, right? It was also about, we got a certain amount of community. Now we got to absorb an extra 20,000 mutants.
Yes. So
that, you know, that has a dilutive effect.
So basically from 30 to 40,
we ate them. We ate them up.
Yes. No. So what I mean is from 30 to 40, it was a normal movement, right? And then Jimmy Fallon shared about his Bored Ape, you know, purchase during the show with people, right?
Yeah.
And that time the floor moved from 40 to 50 to 52 ETH. Okay. After that, there were some like a few things going here and there, right? Then the Snoop Dogg came, and Snoop Dogg there are many reasons, but definitely the Snoop Dogg effect moved the floor from 50 to 60, right? From 60 to 72, it was an Eminem effect on December 31st. Right?
Hiren, you know, I love the fact that you're like a Bored Ape floor historian. You know what I'm saying? Because literally, like,
let him keep going though. This is
yeah. It's all right. Okay.
See the basically like these people has a millions and millions of followers, right? And the higher it goes, the lesser and lesser amount of
JT,
people.
can I have to walk off camera for 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, you're good, man. Shit won't shut down.
So basically, the lesser and lesser amount of people could afford, you know, these things, right?
Yeah.
So they may have millions of followers, but like now, like the floor moved from 100,000 to 150 to 200,000, 250,000. Like 250,000 or 300,000 is not a joke. Like for Berkshire Hathaway Class A share, he never. The Warren Buffett said he never split the stock. Why? Because he don't want any rookie investor or Robin Hood type of investor into the Class A, you know, Berkshire. Yeah. So the higher we go, the less we may get more and more serious investor into this segment.
Yeah, and in that way, it's like a Veblen good, right? I don't know if that's the word as you say it, but I've seen that posted a lot, which is like basically it's the idea that as the demand increases, as price increases, right? So we saw some of that impact, that effect as well. You know, it's a luxury good, and I mean this is literally the definition for which the demand increases, the price increases. It's in contradiction to the law of demand, and it actually
got it right here.
Results in what's that?
No,
oh, we can't see.
I have it on my phone. Veblen Goods, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, so I think that's some of what you also see too. So but let's go back to the point, or the question was, you know, so the token's not priced in because there's a lot of uncertainty around it. You think that once that clarification comes, it could be good. But I mean, I will say, and I've been open to admit this, I thought the mutants were they were dilutive initially. I wasn't sure how that was going to go. I think that they've shown great foresight in bringing them in a way that has really helped to. I mean, now the mutants are, you know, the floor of the mutants through the roof. Like,
well, I think what they've shown is that more important than the dilutive effect of expanding the community is a larger community creates more network effect. More network effect has a much more value increasing effect than the dilutive effect of increasing the size of the network.
Yeah. That's what
I think as a pop culture item, mutants initially were met with disdain and suddenly became very cool, right? People, I mean, I wish I had mine, right? So, I mean, and I don't, right? I mean, so, you know, I got an M2 serum and I sold it, right? And, you know.
Oh, you talk about the mutants.
Yeah, there are like people, they started off being, you know, the initial reaction was negative to the mutants and the art and like, who wants this? And now mutants
I hated them.
you know.
Yeah, I
But
still
now
don't like
people
some
love
of
it.
the art, but I respect the art. When you dig into the detail on some of this stuff, what they did with the mutants, when you look at some of the like the rat behind the eye patch and just some of the skeletons crawling inside the shirts. And so, Steve, when you bought your ape, that was that was post mutant, right?
Yeah.
So where's your any idea where is your ape a virgin ape? Like is he mutantable?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, we got to see.
If you guys could show me how to figure it out.
This
I will,
allegedly,
I will send you the link. Now I know who you are because now I remember you are a Toga guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Toga with the 3D, right?
Yes.
Do you know what your ape's number is?
I call him the Animal House. I call him Animal
90-12.
House.
Which one? What is it?
90-12.
90.
while we're looking that up, I do want to kind of and come back to the token in a minute. You know, I want to lose Trepet.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
Drew, you'll appreciate this comment. You know, I had a conversation with one of my friends who I work with closely, who's a top Chinese domain investor. And if you look at, you know, how the Chinese investors came into .coms, right, in the domain market and when, Drew, right, they have not, that marketplace has not touched the Bored Ape community at all yet. Barely cracked it, don't get it, aren't there yet. They tend to be careful and cautious and then and come in behind. But, you know, in this conversation, he pointed out my ape, which happens to be number 818. He said, wow, when we come in, that ape is going to be crazy. Because I have a 33% rarity, right? Like I'm like 3,300 rarity, pretty plain looking, clean ape, right? And with a faux hawk. But the 818, I guess, is like literally like an
Andrew,
angel number.
you gotta sell that to Kendall Jenner.
Yeah.
That's her tequila.
Is what?
818 tequila. That's her brand.
Oh, that's right. That's a great point.
Or you gotta do a deal with her.
That's a good point.
Licensing deal.
But anyway, I didn't know this, but 818 in China is an angel number. 8's a huge number in China. You know, 8 is great, but 818 is an angel number or something where it's greatness and you know, I had no idea. So I'm just kind of waiting, like, you know, when is that market? I mean, when we talk about the floor and the upside, just from a pure investment standpoint, you know, this is still a pretty limited celebrity. You know, we got all the celebrities and the Veblen goods. You know, it's tough to afford an ape, but you know, you have a global investor market in these kind of assets that, you know, this is pretty much US Bored Ape right now. It is pretty much a little bit of Europe, but I bet you it's 90% US. And
you got a pretty strong presence over here. You got some big European football players. You've got some
Neymar.
But you've got a lot. I mean, look, I'm here in Lisbon, and we've got a major Bored Ape contingent over here. Like,
well,
see, like Justin Bieber.
There's 3 people just in the hip hop apes that live here in Lisbon.
See, like I think one more point I would like to share. Justin Bieber, right? He bought that ape, yes, for the aesthetics and everything, but he also bought an ape because of the 3001 number. His house number is 3001. His birth date is March 1st. So there are various angles. So maybe let's say like if the Bored Ape 3001 could have been gold or trippy, he would still try to get that.
Yeah, well, I think that's an interesting. When we saw it in domain names with when the Chinese market really came in, and you recognize the value around certain numerics, and you know a lot of that, right? Domains that had 8s and 7s were, you know, the numeric domains were sought out. There's still a market for 5, 6 character.com domains based on the repeating numbers and all that kind of stuff, and that carries a lot of weight, right? So I think that's a very important thing. By the way, but real fast. So yeah, Ape 9012 is a virgin ape. Yo, that is a virgin ape. He can still be mutated, dog. So
can mine.
You have to grab some. You might have to get some serums and buy them sooner than later because
it ain't cheap though. I mean, it's like 50 ETH now for an M2 and 23 or something, 24
How crazy
for
is that?
an
I mean,
M1.
and what a shout out to those guys, man. From the time they dropped the dogs on us to the times, you know, to the whole mutant drop, the actual amount of value that you've gotten. Just if you were a person, and I didn't mint my ape. I came in, a couple of weeks later. And but still, like the amount of value that we've been given through this whole process is just so crazy. I mean, You know, and but yeah, so Virgin Ape,
and
man,
so that
knocking
brings
that
us
tote,
to,
he's
right,
ready to get it in, man. He's ready to do a keg stand on top of one of that big M3 mutant serum. You know what I mean? He's ready to go.
By the way, that value, right? I mean, you talk about that value, and then now here comes ApeCoin, right? So is ApeCoin, is the token going to be the highlight or the high point, the zenith of that value, or isn't it? How many are you going to get? How's it going to work? What's the distribution? How tradable and liquid is it going to be? You know, is it going to be, where's it going to be applicable? Is it going to be a play to earn gaming token? Is it going to be more than that? Is it going to trade? I mean, there's so, if you look what LooksRare did, right, or even whatever it is, EFS or whatever,
ENS,
ENS. I mean, you know, you would think that the token's going to appreciate.
Yes.
Right?
So,
I mean,
well, yep. And this is what I've said about the token. So what I believe is going to be the case, right, is that we will be given some tokens right up front based either on owning an ape currently or having owned an ape or whatever. I think that's unclear, but you know, I think mutants will get some coins. Apes will get some coins, dogs maybe. There may be a multiplier. You know, everyone's trying to figure it out. I think it'll probably be more simple than people realize. I think it's going to be like, hey, if you got an ape, you get this much. You got a mutant, you get that much, something like that. And then there'll probably be the ability to earn some through the games. And then there'll also potentially be the ability to earn some through staking your apes, you know, so that, you know, you'll be given coins just like you are with Meta Heroes now and a bunch of other NFTs. I think, to me, I think Ape has the ability, when you look at altcoins, to have significant value because it will allow people who can't afford an ape, can't afford a dog, can't afford a mutant to still participate in the community. And I think in a lot of ways, this could become the NFT play from a coin standpoint for people who are like, hey, I don't even want to buy NFTs, JPEGs, all that shit. I don't even care. I just want to buy the coins because I can go on to my, you know, whether it's Uniswap or, you know, probably I would think relatively quickly, you'll see it pop up on a lot of the bigger exchanges as well. Shit, you'll probably be able to go on Coinbase and buy ApeCoin because you can buy Axie right now. So you just buy ApeCoin and then just chill. You know what I mean? And I think that to me is going to create an enormous amount of value for everybody that participates because it's going to allow people of all shapes and sizes to get into the ecosystem. Folks that are more on because the crypto bros who don't love NFTs, it's like, well, here's your exposure. You know what I mean? It's easy peasy. I'm going to go ahead and buy a bunch of fucking ApeCoin because that's the one that represents the biggest NFT play. It's the biggest cultural movement within the whole space. And, you know, and then for us as ape owners, we're going to keep getting some drip one way or another. And it's like, so I think that, you know, to me, I see it as a big, you know, not that I have enormous expectations. I think it's, again, going to be a simpler thing than people think. But I think that to me, I think it presents some pretty promising stuff. So
and one more
I'm in the buy the rumor, sell the news camp.
You're always in
I
that
really
camp.
am. I'm a realist, man. I think expectations are just way too high. It's like, you know, basically from the announcement of ApeCoin to today, you know, we're up roughly 60%. And it's like, so is ApeCoin going to return a 60%, you know, yield?
Well, that's a fair point. I think I'm bullish on ApeCoin. Am I bullish on ApeCoin with respect to the current prices of apes? You know,
that's it. That's the question, right? So here, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I got right now on a 4 trait with the 3D glasses. One of the cleanest 4 trades. I think top 5 4 trade.
Billy, throw up the ape. Actually, so as a reminder, Billy, who does our post production, let's put up Steve's ape when we were talking about it, and then let's make sure we throw up the 4 trait that Drew's talking about on the screen so folks can see it.
So we got right now we got 160 ETH offer on that 4 trait. We got them listed at 189, which after the fee, you know, fees is 180. So I'm gonna put it to a vote right now, and I'm a whatever you guys vote is what I'm gonna do right now, live, right now. So do I take it at 160 or do I hold it?
Hold.
You paid, for the sake of disclosure.
101. I think we paid 101.
So paid 101. So after fees and things, you'd be looking at potentially like, you know, a 45.
50, 60. Yeah. Well, yeah, but this would be a direct deal, so there's no commission. So 160. It's a 60 ETH game, basically.
Over how many weeks? What, like 3 weeks?
I don't know. Yeah, short.
So sub 1 month, 60 ETH, right?
Which is 60%.
You know? And so what does everybody think? Let's go around the room. Hiren says hold.
Hiren says hold.
Andrew says hold.
My simple reason is why to hold, because there are so many less aesthetic 40 selling almost every day for 170, 180 range. And I know your is far, far, far better, most clean looking. It's one of the top 10 40 out there. It deserve. See, like my Valentino I sold, right?
Yeah.
That the new
He
one,
was so clean. He was
Valentino,
a portrait
baby.
with that.
Billy,
with
throw
the hard
Valentino.
eyes.
Show the audience Valentino.
Valentino was so clean.
Show him.
he the new he also traded to somebody else for a black suit, and but the owner after me, he got a 210 ETH offer, and yours is as nice and as clean, you know. And I think 40 market is getting more and more exposure. So almost every day you will see 170, 180 ETH, you know, 40 sell, right? And yours worth definitely more.
There you go.
All right.
Steve, what do you think,
Steve?
man?
You gotta hold.
Oh, hodl. He said
Look
hodl.
at
Oh, there's
this.
Valentino.
There's Valentino. Surprise
Valentino,
appearance.
baby. All right. Steve says hold. We hold. That's it.
All right, that's it.
Hodl.
It's a hold. All right. So
Yeah.
I said I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. So I'm gonna actually delist this dude.
All right. Let's go.
And then
Let's
I'm gonna
go.
punk this dude on Twitter. That's like, yo, I'm gonna give you 160.
All right. All right. So
Hey,
we
JT,
only.
I'd love to hear about. I'd love to. You know, I know Steve's got this Cameo Pass thing coming. I'd love to get it.
Yeah, that's
hear
what I was
about
going to
it.
say. We've got 5 minutes to go. So, Steve, why don't we talk about that? Because I know you guys got this dope project coming, and would love to hear about it.
Yeah, we're really excited to be. You know, we announced last week our Cameo Pass. Over the course of the last year, we've been watching the space really quickly. Yeah, I think the big wake up moment for us was in 2020. Cameo kind of had the dream year that you could imagine during COVID. Everything exploded, and then NBA Top Shot did as much GMV in 1 month as we did in the whole year, right? And that was just kind of like, forget the money grab side, but it was just, you know, we're in consumer internet, and we always need to make sure we're relevant. And one of the things from the beginning of Cameo, for those of you like not familiar, was we had the idea that Cameo was the new autograph, right? And when we started watching what was going on at NFTs, and there's a lot of really interesting DNA in the company. For example, Tom Brady's NFT company, Autograph, was started by Richard Rosenblatt, who's one of our board members. The CEO, Dylan, was an intern at Cameo this time last year. So just
Rich's son, right?
Yeah, Rich's son Dylan, who's incredible. You know, just it's been awesome to watch what, you know, what Dylan and Rich and the team have done over there. And just as
Wait, is this the same Richard Rosenblatt from
GoDaddy?
From Enom.
GoDaddy?
Media.
No, Enom.
Oh, Demand. That's right. It was Demand Media.
Sorry, Demand Media, which bought Enom. In fact, we helped him grab some domains. Like back
what did we say? All roads lead to domains.
All roads lead to domains, for sure. Yeah. So
Anyway, let him.
So we've been watching it, and then over the past year, you know, we just had so many of our talent coming up to us and saying, hey, you know, when's Cameo going to get in the space? I want to learn more. And one of the big ideas that we have is that Cameo, we should be talent CTO. Anything that they want to do direct to fan, we should be their first call, right?
Yep,
we may not have the best answer for everything, but call us and we'll either point you to the right direction, but we want to be your Sherpa, you know, through this, you know, crazy emerging new world. As we started watching, you know, as I got involved with, you know, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and we started watching some of these other really exciting communities like Doodle, Azuki, like all these things that are going on, you know, we started to think about the assets that we had, which is direct access to 50,000 talent. We started thinking about our unique mission as a company, which is to build the most personalized and authentic fan experiences on earth. And we really started thinking, like, what if we were able to actually match the art with the deep utility that we already do? So, for example, on Sunday, we're having a Super Bowl party at our place in Beverly Hills. Got this huge house in the flats that a ton of talent are just coming over to watch the Super Bowl at. That's the type of thing that people would pay any amount of money to go do, but they just don't have access, and we do have that access. So what we're thinking about is in this project, there's basically 3 different times of the day and 3 different artists. So depending on which time of the day, if you mint GN, you know, you're going to get one of the 3 artists. And we're working with Bert Toast, who did Doodles. We're working with Vinny Hagar and Luke McGeary, who's actually a Cameo talent that we discovered, who is making all these really cool animations, just as part of his cameos, and we just felt he had to be part of this project. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So the minters are not going to know which artist is tied to which time of day. So there's a little surprise and delight, but the utility will be the same on all the passes. And you know, we just felt that this brought together so much of what we were doing with experiential and community building that we already have with the core product. But you know, we're really excited about the future of Cameo Pass.
Yeah. So when's it go live?
We're doing we're doing some of the early stuff is happening at the Super Bowl party. And then I think if you go on Cameo Pass, I think we're going live in like 12, 13 days.
Okay. So that's, is it off the website or is cameopass.com?
Yeah, maybe it's 8 days. I think it's the 17th, I think is the go live day. Yeah.
So where do people find out more info? So is it off of the main site? Is it on cameopass.com?
Pass.cameo.com.
Pass.cameo.com. I love it, man. What do I got to do to get on the whitelist though? You know what I'm saying? Like, do I got to get to level 200 in the Discord, or what's the, what do I got to do, man? Just let me know.
We'll get you guys on the early access.
I love it, man. That's dope. So, and dude, so are you going to be in Beverly Hills at the Super Bowl party?
I am. In fact, like this party is going to be so good. I've turned down 2 opportunities to go to the Super Bowl.
To the game, right?
To actually go do our party. And I've been lucky. I've gotten to go the last few years, and it's an amazing experience. And with the Rams at home in their own stadium, like that's pretty cool. But at the end of the day, I'm a Bears fan, and you know.
I was gonna say if it's the Bears, you're going to the game, but
yeah, if it's Bears, I'm blowing my own party off for that. But you know, I'm really excited for what we've got. I was just over at the house. That's why I'm not at my podcast setup right now. Sitting in a hotel room because the house has just been completely taken over. And we've got a bunch of events there throughout the week, so it should be a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, that's super
awesome.
dope.
And by the way, just as a side note, I with a lot of my connections in Beverly Hills, I just we'll talk about this next Wednesday on DomainSherpa, but Braden Pollock and I just split and bought together 90210.com.
Oh, see,
nice.
we were just talking about the 5-character numerics. 90210. Let's go. And that shows you the relevance of some of the numeric stuff, you know, and we do see the big
Steve,
Chinese.
if you have anyone at the party who wants 90210.com for a nice sum, you know, we can split that.
All right.
You know somebody.
We should set up a booth.
All right. Well, look, with that, I think we're pretty much run up on time. Anybody with this last minute or two have anything else to kind of close with, or anything else I want to say? Steve, I'll kind of give it to you one last time since you're the special guest.
This was a lot of fun, and on a future episode, just on the domain side, I think the story behind how we got Cameo was pretty cool.
That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to poke you and see what we could get, on the cameo.com acquisition story.
All right,
I mean, that is a fire domain.
Yeah, so that's another story for another day. But totally gained a lot of respect for what you and your crew all do, because I certainly it's a pretty lucrative field if you get the right one.
Oh yeah, if you know what you're doing, you know.
And unlike a physical piece of real estate, you can afford to just let it go vacant until the right buyer comes around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd make an argument that Drew and I, lessons learned, although I've done some great development on my domains, you're better to let it go vacant.
Yes. Well,
let the grass grow, baby. Just let it grow.
Yeah. So we'll save that for another time. And so Miller, Hiren, anything else on your ends? I know we got some things to talk about on a follow-up rabbit hole. We can talk a little bit more about some of the other stuff you guys got going on, but any parting thoughts real quick?
Yeah, I mean, my part. Oh, go ahead. Go here.
Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Mine's quickly, which is take the long-term view here. I think there's a lot of upside left and a lot of room to go in BAYC here at so many different levels, from the community and the relationships to where else can you be texting with Paris, to meeting, great guys like all of us and get to know one another, and the Ape coin and in real life model potentially, which, Soho Club's a multi-billion-dollar company. I just think there's so much opportunity, and look, the risk of it is obviously mismanagement or greediness, or things don't go the way they should. But I actually expect, I think it would be a terrible mistake, and then for Yuga Labs even to not treat the incredibly strong community at BAYC and who's in it with incredible respect and favorability along the way, no matter what they do. I imagine they will always keep, they can't gain any, don't want the Bored Ape Yacht Club community turning on them. It's the opposite. You know, the Bored Ape Yacht Club community can do so much for Yuga Labs that I expect it to be a very long, lucrative ride here, personally.
Yeah, symbiotic.
And I'm not a seller, period. I'm just not. I mean, I'd sell my ape if Kendall wants to come pay me 300 ETH and I can go buy a floor ape, you know, of course. But I have one ape and I'm not a seller unless there's a trade to be done.
Yeah. Hiren?
Yeah. Jeff Bezos, one time he shared that during the post.com bubble, right, the Amazon price dropped from $100 to less than $1 or around $1, right? And he was talking to his team. He said, don't look at the stock price, because as a company, our team is growing, our product is like delivering, you know, the more things, right? So look at what we are doing internally instead of focusing on the stock price. So same thing, like for Bored Ape Yacht Club, I will focus on they quadruple their team. They are always believing under promise and over deliver culture, right? Which is the, and it is very hard to find a good project where there is a honest founders, very creative team, very passionate and innovative community, right? So many check boxes are tick marked for this particular project, and that is one of the reason that I am still a firm believer in this project as an investor. Yes, every investment involves risk, but I think we are into this particular segment for a long term.
Yep. No, and I would agree. I mean, I think you're going to see peaks, valleys. There's going to be opportunities to make moves to buy and sell, but you know, I think long term, I would agree. I'm very bullish on the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and and like you said, they've established a track record. You know, from the founders have done an amazing job, and I expect that they'll continue to do the same. You know, and it'll just be interesting to see how it all goes. So, all right. So with that, we are out of time. Oh, you did mention company culture, which actually I wanted to also make a point. When I was doing a little bit of my research, putting your bio together, Steve, you know, Cameo has won a lot of, has gotten a lot of recognition and awards for company culture, which I think is really, really awesome too. And a credit to you and your team for putting together, you know, the organization like that. So I actually forgot to mention that in the bio. So I got to throw it in at the end. Yeah. Dope stuff, man. Drew, I'm not gonna let you rattle off because you'll talk us, until everyone else will be off the line. But I'm just playing. But with that, listen, thank you, everybody. This was a great show. Can't wait to push this one out. I'll be in the next couple of days. So thank you to all of my co-hosts as usual. And as I always say on every show, thank you to the audience. You guys know where to find us. Hit us up on Twitter, questions, comments, whatever. But without you, there's no us. So we very, very much appreciate y'all. I hope you enjoy the show, and we'll see everybody next time here on Domain Sherpa. All roads lead to domains, and sometimes down the rabbit hole. Peace out, everybody.